Welcome to the dark side of trading nobody talks about. My name is Peter, in case you don't know, and welcome to my channel, Forex Medic. This is the dark side of Forex nobody talks about, and it's a losing part. And ever since I got this challenge, ever since I launched this challenge of 5k to a million in profit, I've been on drawdown, and it's very deep. Like I'm on 7% drawdown, right? But don't panic, I'm still gonna grow it up. And I want to take you guys back and show you the loss and everything. Like I said, I'm going to be transparent as possible from in this account. Every win I take, every loss I take, I'm going to be documenting it. So now I'm going to take you guys and show you guys the trade I took and lost it. Well, some trade were because I didn't manage it properly because I'm at work. I'm doing my 9 to 5, so I couldn't manage it properly. So some went in profit and later went to break even and some to loss. So this is the dark side of Forex, and why I'm showing this loss is because very soon I'm going to be flaunting profits. Very soon I'm going to be showing profits. So nobody should come and say that I'm photoshopping, I'm making Photoshop of the profit. Now this is my loss days and I'm showing it. So let's go inside and see how the trade went. So this is my P&L. You can see last week I lost just $67. So I managed my risks properly. And right now I'm going to go over the trades I took. I'm not going to be explaining why I took the trade because I don't want this trade to take a long time. So I'm just going to show the trades and we'll move on. Okay, so the first pair I'm going to be looking at is EURJPY. You can see that was a $4.7 break even. It wasn't a winning. So I'm waiting for it to load up. Come on, you can do this. Come on. Okay, this is EURJPY, right? If you watch the previous video I posted, you can see that last 2 weeks I was on this trade on EURJPY, and that was the trade I was holding till this point. You can see where I got into the trade. Let me minimize again. You can see where I got into the trade. The date is 4th May, and 4th May is probably last 2 weeks, right? So I had this trade. It was just going up and down. Was really frustrating. And on the 9th it hits my break even point for $4.7 break even. So that was the trade on EURJPY. On last 2 weeks video I made, I explained why I got into this trade. So if you're wondering why I got into this trade, you should go and watch that video. I explained why I got into the video. So let's go to the second trade, NZAUSD. So it was a trade. So it was a scalp. It was a scalping trade. It was a scalp. So why it was a losing trade and it was a winning trade was because I got into 2 positions. So, but before I got into a second position, my first position was already at break even. So I got into the second position. You can see right from this point. Let me go to 1 minute time frame because this was a scalp trade. So this was a trade. I'm going to explain a little bit why I got into the trade. You can see this was sell side liquidity taking, and this was a breaker. This was a breaker, right? So this breaker got disrespected. And why this breaker got disrespected, I wasn't interested in entering here. I had to wait for this FUG. I want to see if this FUG is going to hold price higher. So when price broke this breaker, I wasn't confident entering. So I had to wait for this FUG to push price to break higher to give us an order block. So when price broke above there, I got into the trade. I kept my stop loss way below here. I know it was too big for a scalp. I wanted keeping it below this FUG since we're already taking the lows out. But I don't want a case where price comes, take me out on break even and go my way. So that was why I kept my stop loss at this low. So keeping my stop loss at that low, you can see price went into my direction. My stop loss was around, I've forgotten where my stop loss was, should be around here. So price went for 1 to 3 R, right? Okay, 1 to 1.5 R. Then, so when price was around this point, I scaled in the second entry, and this trade was on break even of $3, right? So I scaled in on second entry, and the risk was on this trade was $11. So price took this one out completely and got me out on break even. And immediately got me out on break even. You can see price reached my target. You can see, right? So it was crazy. I was expecting to hold this two trade for a 7 RR for the boat, but price came, hit me out, and went my way. So that was it, and that was trading. So the next trade is gonna be on NAS 100. On NAS 100, it was also a scalp trade. So I'm just going to pull up my recording because I was with my computer then. So this is the recording on NAS 100. You can see. So this was the recording. You can see that this 1 hour candle took the lows of this previous 1 hour candle from 1 hour IFUG. This on close training side. I'm trying to trade this candle. So I was anticipating that this candle is going to be bullish. My distribution that is going to be bullish. See, that was it. And I go into the trade. You can see it did went to my direction, but I didn't close up. You can see, right? It did went up. I didn't close up because I was expecting to hit this high. I was expecting this high to hit. Well, what happened next? Well, it came back and took me out on break even and went my way. Can see, right? It's funny. So at this point, I was already at break even because I saw this retracement, a closure above here, but I saw this retracement, so and I didn't like it. And price already broke. I was waiting for price to break above this breaker. If price should blow below above it, then I'm certain that it's not going to come back again. But price did to close above it, slow then, and later it reversed. So close below this order block. That means this is manipulation leg. And if it does that, then so at this point I was already at break even for $3.6, right? And look what price did. Yes, right there, right here, it took me out on break even. That was it. Took me out on break even, and I was pissed off. So, but later I guess it went my way. So let me show you that on chat. Where was that? So this was the place, right? Not this place. Okay, this was it. So this was the place I was trying to predict that this candle, this was a candle, right? This was a candle also predicting that it's going to be bullish. You can see it came above here, but later it came back to my stop loss, took me out this candle and went my way. You can see this was the target I was aiming. Let me go to lower time frame so you see the trade again from this place. So you can see, right? So this was the OB. Moment price closed above this OB, I was hoping that okay, price isn't going to come back and take me out on break even again. So I got into on a second trade here. Then the first trade was on break even. Second trade was up running. So, but what happened was that price came above this place and rejected from this OB, came back, took me on break even, went below this place, and you can see it still came back. So this was my target initially. I was targeting this highs. So you can see price went above it, and this was a 5.7 RR. So that was it. I was on this trade for 3.5 RR, right? Yes, but my risk management doesn't allow me to take partials or whatever, I just leave it to run. So that was it on NAS 100. So I'll be going to BTC USDT and break that down also. So this was BTC USDT. Now BTC USDT, there was a reason why I was on sell on BTC USDT, and I'm going to explain that shortly. Now, this is a weekly time frame on BTC USDT. Now you can see that from this weekly time frame, this was a week, right? So we came into this FUG and you can see price was bearish. BTC has been falling since, and you can see from this previous price action, price just dipped into it and dropped. Can you see, right? So when price was here, I was expecting price was going to drop. This high is already taken, and this low should be taken next. So last week came to these highs and tested the fair value gap CE and dropped lower. The rejection was so big. So this week I was expecting to at least take this low and probably take this one, but I was hoping for it to take this low. So going to this week, I was bearish. So on daily time frame, this was what I saw. You can see price came into this FUG and it disrespected a daily FUG. So this was going to be my entry point, right? So if price was bullish, it should go up, but if it's still bearish, then it disrespected. So I was supposed to get entry from here and tank. And you can see this was Tuesday. Tuesday went up and dropped. That was retracement. That was rejection. So, and I was supposed to get my entry around this point. That was the first entry I missed around this point. Keep my stop above here, but I missed it. So I'm not going to talk about that. So on this day, inside this FUG, I was on 4-hour time frame. I was waiting for it to load up. So I was on 4-hour time frame. So we had this market came into this FUG, created 4-hour order block. So I had to still go down on 15-minute time frame before I could get entry. This was price taking buy side liquidity into the daily FUG and order block. So price swept buy side liquidity, displaced IFUG below, so and left buy side liquidity above here. So I kept my entry around this point and my take profit was down below. So you can see I was tagged in. This was my stop loss above here. I was tagged in. Price came down in profit, and I had this trade for like 2 days, right? So that was the trade recap for BTC USD. This was a loss of $23, and the last trade was on NAS 100, right? The last trade was silly. I wasn't supposed to take the sell, but I did. So this was a trade on. This was the last trade I took, and the reason for this trade was that we are bearish on the 1-hour time frame. You can see from this point we are bearish. This FUG held price lower. This order flow, market created order block, came back, tested, break lower. This now another block. Markets came back into this order block and break lower. So you can see the order flow was clearly bearish. So getting this order block. So I was thinking market was going to come into this place now and continue lower. So that was the reason for the entry. So right on 15-minute time frame or 1-minute time frame, I got into the trade and it was a small loss, $17, right? Wasn't much, but loss are still losses, right? Yes. Where's the trade? Where's the trade? So this was a trade. So I thought this was gonna be the last sweep. It was gonna sweep. when this first candle, I'm gonna lock this. When this candle swept here and refused closing a body above these highs, I knew that okay, that was my chance. I got in on the re-entry and it came back a bit and took me out. So guys, that was the recap of my week. It was horrible, it was terrible, but I managed my risk. I didn't lose up to 2% of my capital. I lost just 1.27%. So, and that was it. So thank you for watching. Stay tuned.